everyone, welcome back to Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry and today is Finish It Friday, where we see what I've been working on and maybe finished and what you have finished. So we have a lot of photos that came in this week. Thank you very much. I'm going to try to get all of them in. I may paraphrase some of your descriptions, but I'll keep the pictures up as long as we can so we can really see the beautiful work that you have done. So some things that I got into this week. First of all, Wednesday's video was a new quilt along, which is a quilt as you go method using 2.5-inch strips. Here's my first block. And I'll be having a video in 2 weeks showing you how to construct this block and then more information on the sashing. I did have a question about the fabric requirements as far as the sashing goes, and the yardage that I quoted was for sashing in the color of your middle square here. So that is what is going to be on the front and the back of your quilt for your sashing. If you want to adjust that, if you feel like you have plenty of fabric to play around, feel free to go ahead and play around with whatever you have, whatever you want to use for sashing. But that is included in the yardage that I gave you in that video. So also, I finished the last Happy Days block. Did I say last? Yes, this is the last Happy Days block. And it is finished. It was a foundation paper pieced one. Wasn't too hard. It was a little bit time consuming, but overall it was a simple design for foundation paper piecing. So it didn't give me any problems. I'll just say that. So that one is finished. Now, what's going to happen with Happy Days now is the next mailing will include instructions and fabric for the borders, and the borders are pieced. So I'm not completely out of the woods as far as this quilt goes, but I do feel like I'm on the home stretch, and I think the border will actually be kind of fun, although there is some applique corner blocks that will go into it. So we'll see. We'll see. There would only be 4, so that's not too awfully bad. So technically, though, as far as the main part of the quilt goes, this is the last block. I can't believe it. Can't believe it, and I know you can't believe it either. Behind me is Harvest Square Dance. So I got all of my blocks finished and put together. This isn't finished yet, though. It does get a 2.5-inch border out of the light fabric all the way around to complete it at 60 by 60. So this is not a huge quilt, but I didn't really enjoy making this quilt, but I do like how it turned out. Just the repetitive angled pieces here, and then all of these Ohio stars all being the same was just a little bit boring for me, but it turned out to be a really pretty quilt, and it's very much like the picture that I've shown you many times, but it's the picture from the Annie's pattern that I had downloaded. So it's similar, and this is Primitive Gatherings Rustic Gatherings line. So I have some other fabric, some yardage in this line, so it's possible that I would add another border or at least use one of these colors that I didn't use in the quilt but is in the line as the binding. So we'll see, and I should probably definitely be able to get a backing out of that fabric. So I had bought a line of fabric, like I think it was a 1-yard bundle. So I've got plenty to finish that off with. But as far as this quilt, I'm considering it 99.9% done, so that I can start on a new project. Another finish that I had was from the long arm, and this is a quilt that I made back in July. It was from a friendship mystery bundle from Sewell. And I don't know who sent it to me. I don't know if they sent it to me or one of you sent it to me. Whatever, thank you. But this is the line that was given to me. It did coordinate. So it wasn't 3 mystery 1-yards. It was just a 3-yard mystery bundle. So the three inner squares that you see there, rectangles, those all are from the same line, and I don't remember the name of the line, but I went through my selvages even to see if I had a piece of it. I do know that it's a Benartex. I remember that. And the other fabric that I used in there is a Tim Holtz Eclectic Elements. I did find that selvage. Memoranda. And this particular one, well, actually the one on the back is called Typewriter. And I'm a little bit mad at myself because I thought this was the same exact piece of fabric that I used for the background. But no, I had at some point bought 2 pieces of 2 yards, maybe from Missouri Star, out of this Tim Holtz fabric. And one was more bluish and one was more pinkish. But when I went to do my backing and I had to piece my backing, I used some leftover backing material from another quilt. This was a 108 quilt backing, and I had a whole bunch left over. So I put that on each end and then put that other 2-yard piece in there. But I thought this was leftover from the front. I thought it was like a 4 or 5 yard piece that I had gotten. So I didn't really mean to use this on the back. But that's okay. It all coordinates pretty good. And another dumb thing that I did, well, I guess it's not dumb, but it wasn't what I intended to do. I had already made binding for this in this stripe. And that would have made such a nice binding for this quilt, coordinated. But instead, I used the black from the leftover backing. And I just forgot that I had it. So I need to get some sort of system together where my bindings stay with my quilts, because that's 2 times now that I've messed up on quilt bindings. Made them and lost them. But I did find this, because the reason I found it was because I went back to the video where I made this quilt top to see if I could get some more information on this fabric line. Well, that video didn't tell me anything about what the fabric line was, but I saw that I had made this. So then I went looking for it. I did find it, but not in time to put it on the quilt. I'd already put the black on there, but it's okay. This quilt kind of reminds me of money for some reason, or currency. I don't know. There's just something about it that makes me think of currency. I don't know why. No idea. But anyway, I have some other pictures that are a little bit better for you on this, and I'll put those right here. I took these pictures outside, hanging up where you could see the full front, and a little bit closer up picture of the quilting that I did on the long arm, which was just a stipple. Looks like a meander, but it was called stipple that I did on there, and a little flip up of the back as well. Alright, that's all I had my hands into this week. I felt like I was pretty busy, so pretty happy with how the week went. Okay, our first one that we have is from Charlotte, and she has her Autumn Wonders, the Pat Sloan block of the week that we recently finished. And she said she used autumn colors from her stash, and the orange in the blocks are more like a deep coral, and the copper and green are metallics, and that was the first time she had used metallics in her quilt. She usually does scrappy, and she loves how it turned out, and I love how it turned out too. I think the colors are wonderful, and they are very autumn-like, and I love the border with the sunflowers in it. You did a great job in getting your colors together, and Charlotte mentioned that she's learning from Pat on how to coordinate colors even when you're doing scrappy. Yes, she is very good at that. The next one is from Sun-Dyed Carol, and she says that this one is called Floating Hexagons. Jenny Doan from Missouri Star has a video on it, and she used 5-inch charms with a half hexy ruler. Carol used she made her hexagons bigger because she had a larger whole hexagon ruler, and she used her sun-dyed scraps with the white there, and this is a 75 by 85, and she did a swirl on her sit-down long arm. Very good, very good. Love it. Makes me think of candy. We have one from Mark, and this is a fat quarter friendly 80 by 90 from a pattern named Turnstile from Amy Ellis using Moda Dandy Duo by Robin Pickens. And now he needs to sandwich and quilt it, and this is the largest quilt that he will have done on his Bernina Q20 sit-down machine since he got it in September. You're going to do fine, Mark. This is a beautiful quilt. I love Robin Pickens' lines of fabrics. I think they're fabulous, and she always has those bright greens in there. That's probably why I like her fabric so much. Nice job. This one is from Pat. She says she finished this flimsy of the Bonnie Hunter mystery quilt for Indigo Way, and the leftover pieces she's making a table topper out of. But this first picture is the Bonnie Hunter mystery quilt. Very nice, very intricate. Lots of pieces there. And then the other picture is the leftover pieces that she has, and she's making a nice big table topper for that. Wow. Some quilt-alongs blocks of the month programs have lots of extra fabric with them. The Fat Quarter Shop usually has a lot of extra fabrics. Fabric Stitch in Heaven, not so much. Here's another one by Colleen. This is an interesting story. I'm going to read this. She said she completed this quilt for someone she met through a mutual interest in orphaned bears. I've been making trivets for Facebook auctions held as fundraisers for Bear With Us, and she has been the recipient of my prototype. Nice. My friend tested the waters and asked if I would do something with the collection of wildlife fabric she had. To them, I added from my stash and scraps and made various elements. And then I had to come up with a way to bring them all together. She wanted blue to predominate, which was a bit of a struggle for me as I like green. It took more than 2 years from the time I received her fabrics until she received the quilt. You may notice some influences from watching Pat Sloan, such as bringing all the elements together and some of the blocks. The quilt finished at about 50 by 70 inches, and she tells me it works very well in her recliner. Nice job, Colleen. I love this. I love the bright blues shining out on this, and then all those interesting bear fabrics in there. There's a lot to look at, and I really like this. And then I see how you coordinated some different types and different methods of doing, you know, hooking things together, like you said, with sashing and with borders within the quilt. I think you did a great job on that. Yvette, she has a few more finishes for us. She always sends them in bunches. So this is a Laundry Basket Quilts Primrose block of the month. It's a 66 by 78. And then this one also is from Laundry Basket Quilts. It's 18 by 24. All the pieces were pre-cut and the center pieces were pre-fused. It only took about 4 hours since everything was pre-cut. I've seen this on the Laundry Basket Quilt site before. It interested me. I might take a longer look at that in the future. This one, it's a heart. She says this is from a YouTube channel called Quilts by Carmel. She got the charms from a sewing sampler box, and she used that fabric for that. This is the Lighthearted by Lella Boutique. She also has a panel that she found at a local quilt store that she quilted up. This one's 23 by 42. Good job. Very nice, Yvette. Diane did my iron gate pattern, and she even had enough left over to make a table runner out of some of the blocks. And she says on the larger one there, she added another row so that it would hang nicely on her bed. And she's been hoarding large floral fabrics for a long time, so this was a good pattern to use them on. I agree. And your iron gate looks great. I love it. Looks like you used purple batik for your little, what I would call the iron pieces, and then the white pieces. I don't know if that's white or if it's lavender. It looks a little lavender in the picture, but it could be white. Either way, it looks great. Goes good with all your florals. Okay, Giselle did something interesting. She said, using only one fabric can make quite a striking quilt. I used a repurposed duvet cover and backed it with an organic cotton sheet and quilted with a walking foot. So that is like a whole cloth quilt there. She recycled a duvet cover, put the backing on there, quilted it up. Looks like a quilt to me. Pretty slick, Giselle. Carla, she learned a new technique in working with stripes and just had the perfect project in mind for using it. This is a gift for a lady that sews with her at Christmas time, and she's so excited to give it to her even though we're still several months out from her birthday. I couldn't wait to get it done. So she made this for her friend. And I took a close look at your stripes there, how they're, just perfectly square in there. And it's basically quarter square triangles, looks like to me, but your fabrics really did that pattern justice. That's a really nice technique. Very good, Carla. We have Colleen, but I think it's a different Colleen. She did some placemats, napkins, pot holders, and coasters for her granddaughter. And it's from the Coffee Club line by the Sweet Tea Girls. The coasters are from Folded Coasters on Pinterest, and there is no pattern for the pot holders. And her granddaughter loves her coffee, so I thought this fabric was perfect. Yes, it is. Nice job. She's got a whole set there. Beautiful. Jan, I think this is her first time sending in a finish. She has a baby quilt for us to see here. She says, I saw a glimpse of you showing a stack of 5-inch squares from your stash to be used with a charm pack. I missed the prior episode that was to find ways to use our stashed fabric, but got the gist of it. This is my third baby quilt using this idea and am donating them to a local organization that tries to find shelter for the homeless in our small community, as well as providing the necessities that they will need. Her contact there said they need baby items, so she's working on baby quilts and quilts for older children and adults as well. And then her contact there will disperse them to whoever needs them. So she likes this idea. This first one here is done up in some pinks and a nice turquoise border and yellow border that went together really well. And then the other one, oh no, this is the same one, and she's showing the back. Very nice. She's got the turquoise on the back as well. Very cute. Yeah, you can't beat those 5-inch squares for baby quilts. They just go together really quickly. Just get those scrap 5-inch squares out or cut some from your scraps and then throw them together with a solid or something that reads solid for the opposite square. So that turned out great. And good for you, Jan, in helping those in need. All right, so that is what we have for this week. So much fun stuff to look at. And I hope that this weekend you'll continue to sew and get some projects out and get some things moving along so that we can have some more finishes to show next Friday. I know I'll be here. I don't know if I'll have a finish or not, but I'll be here with something I'm working on. All right, so have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday Quilt Chat. Bye.